Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final pre-season race of the season. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Carmentalist. I will be taking you through the action today. In Division 3 for League of Europe, joining me today, as always, is a good friend of mine, Iro Dillon. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine. How are you on this
Uh,
special day?
I'm doing pretty well myself as well. Yes, a special day, the final preseason race before we get going next week at Australia. Obviously, as you can see, final preseason race is going to be at Great Britain, and the lobbies have officially pretty much been decided at this point. The divisions have been decided, as you would have seen if you watched the LOE podcast in the week. So this is Division 3 as it stands. There may be some final changes just based on the final preseason races. There might be someone in the tier above or the tier below that may be better suited for Division 3. We'll wait and find out and see after this one, but this should be the final tier going into the season. And just going into the season, obviously we haven't got everyone in the lobby as of yet. In this lobby, who stands out to you at the moment, Dylan?
For me, it has to be Mark or Jacob because they moved down from D2 last season as well as Super Gamer. To be honest, they moved down from D2 now into D3, and I expect to see good things from all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with you on that one as well. I think other ones maybe from people that were in D3 last season that might stand out. He'd have to let us know in the comments whether he wants us to call him EduK or Educk, because at this point I say either one at multiple times in the stream, but I'll say Educk for the time being. He got moved up to Division 2 midway through last season before he stopped becoming a regular driver midway through. He had very decent pace at the time, so he's one to look out for. So did Callum. Callum's definitely a very good qualifier. And we know based on the pre-season races that we've commentated over that both XL Hardy and Jay Luke have very good race pace, so they may also stand out this season.
Yeah, especially they're all very good drivers, and I expect this grid to be very close together during this race and throughout the season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one to look out for as well is Big Panther. We both raced against Big Panther actually last week in France. He was in the Division 2 lobby. What did you notice about Big Panther's race? I think he finished the race in the end in 10th, I believe. Did you really notice anything from his race in Division 2 last week?
Uh, I only saw him for the last lap, I guess, when I caught him and tried to overtake him on the final lap. But yeah, I haven't actually seen much of him.
Yeah, I think he might be one to keep an eye on. I believe we commentated over him on the preseason race at China. That was obviously the race that Tiger ended up dominating, but Panther, I believe, finished on the podium in that race. So he's definitely got some good pace. So a lot of people to look out for in this one. For me as well, I commentated over TTML's first race of the season in Australia midweek. In that lobby, it was Division 3 again. In that lobby was TNR's Jonis. In the Williams in TTML and in LOE by the looks of things, and he was very fast. He was on the podium in the end of the race. He won on track, but came second on penalty. So he's another one to look out for in this one as well. But we are just about ready to go for qualifying. Looks like we've only got 14 drivers today, which is a bit of a shame. But as we said last week, it is only the pre-season race. It's not the first official race of the season, so we'll probably see a full grid this time next week. And just going into this lobby as well, one thing to remember is the lobby settings have changed ever so slightly. So previous to this, we'd run with no damage and no safety cars. Safety cars are back on, damage is back on full for this race. These are the lobby settings we'll be running for the full season. So we'll get a bit more of a more accurate representation of who has the better racecraft and who's better in qualifying.
Yeah, that's of course true during this race. And what are your expectations for quali?
That is a good question. Just qualifying pace wise, I've got my eye on Hardy. I think Hardy's improved quite massively on this game. Hardy on the previous game, I believe Hardy won Most Improved last season, didn't he? Or was at least nominated for Most Improved, which was yeah, it was obviously Wakursk at the time, changed to Hardy midway through the season. I know from the preseason race we did at China, him and Damon had a very good battle for the race win at that race. So those two might stand out as maybe good qualifiers. But as you said, it's hard really to bet against Mark and Jay Luke. So what are your expectations? Who do you think is going to finish right at the front?
To be honest, I think it's going to be either Mark or J Cole, and probably Damon in there as well because we've practiced with Damon quite a few
Yes.
multiple occasions this week, and his quality pace is up there. So yeah, I expect good things from him. But Jay Luke, of course, he was he dominated in France last week. So yeah, I expect him to be up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Look out for a lot of people. It looks like it's going to be a very close qualifying, and you never know. My predictions are never usually right. So someone may spring a surprise and jump right to the front of the field without us even realising it. Just looking at the chat as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone. Put in your comments. Who do you think is going to be on pole? Who do you think is going to take the podium positions today? Just had a comment in from Nico saying I need to take care of Dylan. Obviously you two are good, close friends this season. So I believe you've chosen each other for teammates as well. Obviously not confirmed as of yet, but yeah, nice comment there from Nico. Brilliant. So we'll go on board with Callum. So Callum in the Williams is going to be the first one out on the track. Obviously he drove the Racing Point last season. A very good qualifier. He got moved down from Division 2 down into Division 3 midway through last season. I believe it was at Germany was his first race. And he took 2 wins at the end of last season. What are you expecting from Callum?
I expect him to be up there, to be honest, because last season he was one of the top guys in D3, along with Packard, Tiger, and Ben. And Wesker, of course, but all of them have been moved up to D2. So, yeah, I expect him to be actually at the front of the field.
Yeah, he's really kind of the people that were in the top 5 fastest at the end of last season, he is the only one really that didn't get moved up. So it'll be interesting to see how Callum fares, especially at the start of the season. Be interesting to see where he puts himself compared to some of the people that got moved down from D2. But we'll ride on board with Callum for the first lap around Silverstone in qualifying. It is a fairly easy soft-medium strategy around here, so expect everyone to qualify on the soft. Super Gamer is the only one out on the mediums at the moment. But across the start-finish line, down the pit straight now towards Abbey goes Callum. It's an easy flat-out corner, this one is. Through Abbey. Takes a little bit of a tight line on the exit as he now comes up into Village. Comes into Village, a very easy corner to get wrong, easy to lock up, and a bit of a squirrely on the traction on the edge just before the loop. Misses the apex of the loop by a little bit, but he doesn't compromise his exit too much as he goes through the kink of Aintree onto the Wellington straight now. Looking for a high 26 first sector to be really competitive, and it's 26.9, so he's not too far off in the first one. Through Brooklands now, very easy to get that wrong as well. Luffield, probably the most difficult corner on the track in terms of traction to get right. Short shifts up into 4th to null the wheel spin and actually runs wide on the exit of the corner and invalidates his time. So just before Woodcote, we've already got our first invalidation. So we'll now ride on board with Jay Luke in the Alfa Romeo. He's the next man on a lap. He goes through Luffield, doesn't use any of the exit curb, so he hasn't invalidated yet. He comes up now down the old National Pit Straight, down to Copse Corner. Easy flat in these cars now, but if you turn in too tight, it is quite easy to spin. As we now come up into Maggots and Beckett's. Best complex on the track this is. One of the best sequence of corners on the calendar. Comes through into Beckett's. A little bit of understeer midway through. Short shifts up into 6th going through Chapel. So 1 minute 1.5 by the end of the second sector. It's a pretty decent time so far for Jay Luke. This is going to be around, I'd say, probably the mid-24s at the moment as we go into Stowe Corner. Doesn't want to run too wide there. Track limit's far more brutal in this game as he now comes into the Vale and Club Chicane. Misses the apex by a little bit. Goes into 2nd to try and get the car turned in. Now through the last part of Club and across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 24.8 for Jay Luke to start the session off.
He dug close behind by the finish his lap. And it's a 25.1, 3/10 off.
Yeah, 3 tenths off for Educk at the moment. He jumps into 2nd place. We've got one of the Red Bulls coming up to the line. I think that might be Damon. It is, and he does a 24.7, so he takes provisional while by less than a tenth of a second. Got Jaco, I believe, coming up to the line. No, it's Hardy. Hardy goes in between Jay Luke and Damon, so already incredibly close at the front. And Stumpy's now gone in the middle, so that's 4 people separated by less than a tenth of a second. We just had Goldie cross the line. He's done a 25.7. Not the best lap for the Mercedes driver. Got one of the Renaults coming up to the line. Mark is the first Renault coming round. Let's see what he can do. Bit wide of the apex there in Vale. Through Club now. Coming around the last corner. Takes a bit of a tight line. He crosses the line and goes 5th on a 24.9. Pretty good start to the session from Mark. Bree goes just ahead of him. He's on a 24.8 now as well. So that's another one to add into the mix at the front of the field. And Super Gamer on the mediums is going to cross the line. A 25.8. A pretty competitive time on the medium tyres from Super Gamer.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good time. Medium tyres are often 8/10 to a second a lap slower in quali. So that's a pretty good lap time.
Yeah, about a second a lap, so I would say is the difference between the two. So put a set of soft tyres on, and that's another man in the 24.8s at the time being for Super Gamer. Let's see if he does another lap or whether he decides to come in. Jonas has just started his first run in the Williams. I believe Pelly is also on a run as well. He's come out of Luffield. Let's see what he can do at the end of the second sector. Coming up through Copse as well. We've got J-Luke on an outlap. Callum's gone out on another outlap on another set of tyres after his invalidation. Just had Panther go out the pits for the first time as well. Here comes Pelly then into Maggots and Beckett. We're right on board with him. Misses the apex slightly in the second part of Maggots. Goes through Beckett's in 6th gear down into 5th. Short shifts back up into 6th for Chapel. And it is a 1 minute 2 flat by the end of the second sector. So this isn't going to put him right at the front of the field. This will probably put him behind Eduk at this point in the session. Be very close to him if he nails the final sector. Takes a very tight line through Stowe. Has to lift off to not invalidate. Actually runs off the road on the exit of the corner and does invalidate in the end. He might continue on this lap. No, he's put it down into none ERS. So he's backed off at this point in the lap. That's Pelly's first run out of the window. Let's go on board with Tejonis. He's on a 1 minute 1.6 by the end of the second sector. So this is pretty competitive. This could put him right in the battle for pole position at the moment. Comes around Stowe. Doesn't use a lot of the exit curb. Coming up to Vale and Club now. He has a little bit of a lock up into the corner, but makes the apex nicely. Coming through Club, doesn't struggle on the traction into the last corner and then across the line, and it's a 24.772, and he goes less than 100th of a second behind Damon.
Wow, that's really close. It's so close together between the top 6, less than or a little bit more than a 10 separating them.
And then
I think J. Cole has put in the fastest middle sector time. He's looking quite fast. He might be up there as well. Within the 24.7, 24.8.
Let's have a look and see what his time is then as he comes around. It looks like Pelly's had a spin at Luffield. Here comes J. Cole round the final corner. Let's see where he puts himself in this. It's only a 25.1 in the end, so he goes P8, just ahead of Eduk and behind Mark. But yeah, the top 7 at the moment covered by just under 0.2 of a second. That's incredibly close. Let's see where Panther puts himself in this. Panther's actually just in the first sector at the moment. What's his first sector time? 26.7, so it's a very competitive first sector from the Red Bull man. That's nearly 0.2 quicker than I believe what J-Luke or Callum managed. To see if Callum's on another lap. He is. He hasn't invalidated this time around. It's in 26.8, so a bit of a better first sector for Callum this time round. Got a bit of traffic in front of him. That's actually his Williams teammate, so I wonder if they're going to give each other a tow. But Jonas is a bit too far up the road for that really to benefit him. It is going to benefit him slightly towards Stowe, but that wasn't the best executed slipstream I've ever seen. Now coming through Stowe, keeps it in 6th gear. He's got very good turning in that Williams. Actually looks like he's running a bit of a higher downforce setup compared to other people. Into Vale and Club now. Again, he's very neat and tidy in the Williams. No struggles with traction or locking up or anything. He crosses the line. And a 24.4 from Callum. 0.3 clear at the top of the timesheets. That's a brilliant lap from the Williams man.
Yeah, there's a brilliant lap, 3/10 clear of Damon, next car behind him. And Big Panther now coming through the final corner. Let's set his first lap time.
See what it is. 24.5, he goes right in between. Yeah, right in between. Less than 0.5 of a second behind Callum. So, we've got our top 2 at the moment. Callum and Panther, 0.2 clear of the rest of the field. Is that what you were expecting at this point in qualifying?
Well, to be honest, yeah, it's weird because everyone was so close, and then all of a sudden Callum and Big Panther just put in great lap times, and they're a couple of tenths clear of the field right now, and expecting the second runs, maybe the rest of the field just to close up to a time like that. Yeah,
meanwhile J. Cole completed a lap time on his second lap on the soft tyres. Actually, he's done a 24.8. Another man in the 24.8s. Can we get any more people in that time, please? He's only 0.4 of a second slower than J-Luke. He moves up into 8th, but already a little bit of a disadvantage because he's run a little bit longer on those softs. It's not too much of a disadvantage here, just because tyre degradation around here isn't that big of a problem. J-Luke's just started his second run in the Alfa Romeo, coming up to the end of the first sector. It's 26.9, is slightly down on his personal best first sector. Considering that his first sector is a 26.9, a 24.8 in the end is actually a pretty competitive time from the Alfa Romeo man. See a bit of a squirrely exit there through Luffield. See what he does coming up to Copse. And then before Maggots and Beckett's obviously the complex. He's got a Renault in front of him on the track. Oh, he takes a little bit too much inside curb at Copse and invalidates his second run. I think Hardy's made a mistake on his run as well, currently in P5. He's backed off completely coming out of Luffield. So a lot of people, we've seen this quite a lot already this season, a number of people on their second run struggling to get a lap time in.
As Damon set a personal best first sector is purple, even going through Luffield now.
Here comes
like a very good lap so far.
Nice and neat through Luffield. Keeps it well away from the exit curves. There's still a bit more time on the table there for him. Let's see what he's like through Copse. Nice and neat through here. Yeah, nice and neat through Copse. No problems with lifting off or anything like that. Kept it completely flat. Coming into Maggots and Beckett's now. Ooh, a little bit offline there in the first part of Maggots. As he comes through Beckett's, recovers well, but he runs onto the grass. That's going to cost him a heap of time down the hanger straight. He is still a tenth and a half up on his personal best, but he's going to lose time all the way down the straights towards Stowe. See what he does in the final sector, whether he's still able to improve on his time. Shifts down into 5th and back up into 6th. Uses almost all of the exit curb that he can. Coming up now into the Vale Club chicane. Brakes very early. Coming through Vale as well. Takes a lot of inside curb. Compromises his line on the exit ever so slightly. Comes up to the line. He actually goes on pole with that lap time. Incredible last sector from Damon. I don't know how he managed to pull that one off. A 24.4 and he was completely off the road at Chapel.
That was yeah, still a lot of time on the table, it seems like.
Yeah, 24. That is incredible. Considering how far off the road he was, I'm shocked he managed to pull that one off. Just having a look further down the field to see who else is on a lap. It looks like Breeze on a lap in the Renault. And he's 3.5 tenths up on his personal best, so he's going to throw himself right into the ring with this lap time. The top 10 currently separated by just over half a second. Here comes Bree then into the final sector. Much better, much neater through Stowe than his lap. Let's have a look. A bit wide of the apex there in Vale. Has to shift into second to get the car turned. Not the best final sector for the Renault man, but it should still be an improvement. It's 24.6, 2.5 tenths improvement, and he goes up to P4.
There's still definitely a lot of time on that table because he lost a lot of time going through the penultimate corner.
Goldie, meanwhile, improves on his lap time. Sorry to cut in there. Goldie does a 25 flat. He stays in P12, but he's much closer to the field than he was. Someone else has just jumped up. That's Hardy on his second lap on the soft tyres. He goes into third on a 24.508. It's, again, less than a tenth of a second covering the top 3.
Yeah, it's so close. And that's what we love to see, of course, in this division. Everyone's so close together. They're in quality. It's a real battle right now. And I think everyone's kind of coming into the pits and waiting to come out for the final run.
Yeah, we've got Panther just starting his second run. He's running a little bit out of sync with everyone else. I think Callum started his third run in the session early already. So Callum, this is probably going to be Callum's last run. He might not get back into the pits in time unless he invalidates. He's got a lot of traffic actually coming out the pit lane as Callum. Let's see if he gets him held up. He might have got held up a little bit by one of the Alfa Romeos. Looks like they got out of the way based on the track map. Here comes Panther to the end of the first sector, and it is a 26.8. He's half a tenth down on his personal best, but let's see if he can improve in the rest of the lap. We've already seen people make mistakes and still improve. Here he comes then round Luffield, nice and neat through there, no problems with traction at all for Panther as he comes up towards Copse Corner. See how fast he can take it through here. Can he keep it flat through Copse? Keeps it absolutely pinned. Really nice line through Copse as well. Ute squares off the corner as much as possible to carry as much momentum coming into Maggots and Beckett's. A lot more curve on the inside there. Coming through Beckett's. Much nicer through Beckett's there. Brilliant through Beckett's. Comes to the end of the second sector and he's nearly a tenth up on his personal best. This is a good lap time so far. This could put him right in the reaches of his teammate for pole position. How close can he get? Can he beat him? Damon had a brilliant last sector. Can Panther beat it? Oh, almost invalidates on the outside of Stowe. Brilliant commitment so far on this lap from Panther as he comes through the chicane. Short shifts up to third and then to fourth to null the effects of wheel spin. Comes up to the line. 24.2, a brilliant last sector, and he takes provisional pole.
And Callum aborted his lap and went into the pits.
Yeah, it was 4 tenths down at the end of the second sector, so he's coming in and going to go out on another set of soft tyres if he has a spare set left. You've got J. Luke and J. Cole, I believe, starting laps. J. Luke, a tenth and a half up on in the first sector in his personal best. Much better first sector this time round from the Alfa Romeo man. Let's wait and see what he can do. A little bit squirrely on traction on the exit of Luffield. He doesn't use a lot of the road on the exit either. That's going to compromise his run up to Copse ever so slightly. Here he comes then into Copse Corner. Again, has to take a couple bites at the turn in there for Copse. He's struggling a little bit to get the car turned in. He hasn't got a lot of confidence in the high speed at the moment. So he comes with Magnus and Beckett. Slight lift. Oh, and he misses the apex quite heavily there. That's really compromised his line. See if he has still improved. He has not. He's 10.5 down now. So J. Luke losing a lot of time in the high speed section there in the middle of the lap. Let's see if he can still improve in the last sector. He's already backed off by the looks of things. He has. He's backed off. So I wonder if he'll dive into the pit lane. He has. So J. Luke supported that run.
And J. Cole's next on a lap. And he's improved at a tenth in the first sector and another tenth and a bit in the second sector. Going to Stowe now. Breaking around the 50-meter board. Nice turn in.
Doesn't seem to have any problems in the final sector so far. Coming up into the chicane. Doesn't lock up into the corner either. Nice and neat and tidy. Brilliant last sector, it looked like, from J. Cole. Comes up to the line. 24.5. He improves by another 10th in the final sector. Only P5, though, with that lap time for J. Cole. And I don't think he's not going to have enough time to get back round. Meanwhile, Mark now jumps up into P3 with a 24.4.
A super game across the line with a 25 flat.
And he's not going to have enough time to get back into the pit lane and improve unless he goes for another lap on the same set of tyres. So it looks like Super Gamer, Mark and J. Cole have completed their final runs in qualifying. We've still got some people in the pit lane that haven't come out yet. Stumpy's just come out for his final run. I believe Jonas Hardy's just come out of the pit lane as well. So still waiting for the final people to come out of the pit lanes. Neither Red Bull have come back out onto the track yet. I think one of them has actually just left the pit lane. But they're cutting it very fine. They're all coming. It's very reminiscent of real life F1. They're leaving it right to the last moment to come out onto the track.
Yeah, who do you think is going to get pole position on their final run?
Oh, I'm keeping my eye on Callum. I think Callum's got some brilliant pace in the Williams at the moment. So look out for him to maybe steal it at the line. But both Red Bulls have shown brilliant pace. And Damon, we know, has got time still in the bag based on his mistake at Chapel. So I think it's going to be between the two Red Bulls and Callum at the moment. But you never know. Someone could spring a surprise. We've seen people before spring surprises from absolutely nowhere. So don't count the likes of Breed, Jonas, Stumpy, all those guys out. They might still improve.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's going to be J. Cole starting his second lap on his tyres.
Yeah, he's gone for another run then. Goldie's on his run now. His final run on the soft set of tyres. He's currently running in 13th on a 25 flat. Even a 2/10 improvement could get him into the top 10 here. So let's see how he's doing on his run. Oh, a massive slide through Copse. Well held. He kept it flat the whole way through and he just about held onto the car. Fair enough. So he comes through Maggots and Beckett's. Nice and neat through here. Not offline, but a little bit too much curb on the inside. It compromises his run. He's half a tenth down on his personal best at the moment. Let's see if he can improve in the last sector. If he can, he could still gain a few positions. Pelly, meanwhile, still hasn't set a competitive lap time. He's the only one at the moment that hasn't so far. Here comes Goldie to the end of the lap. Damon moves out the way nicely as they come up to the Vale Club chicane. Comes round the final two corners on the track now. Comes out of the corner nice and early on the power. Let's see whether this is an improvement or not. And it's not in the end, so Goldie can't improve on a 25 flat and he stays 13th for the time being. And I believe Pelly's actually just gone off the road. He has. Pelly on his final run has gone off the road at the loop, so he's not going to be improving on P14.
I think J. Cole's next across the line. He's a little bit up on his time, going to Stowe now. Nice turn in for Stowe. He keeps it flat, and he actually goes into the pits. I think he ran out of fuel.
That could be possible. Yeah, it does look like it, that he might have run out of fuel. So J. Cole, no higher than 6th for him, unfortunately, in qualifying. 24.5 is the best he can do. We've got one of the Williams coming up to the line. I think that is Callum. Here's Callum. Callum's into the pit lane, so Callum invalidated his final run. So he's not going to improve on the top 4 position that he's in. Breeze on a lap now. Let's see if he's improving. He's only slightly up at the end of the second sector. Oh, a massive snap of oversteer, and he doesn't improve. So another person that hasn't improved on their final run. I think Stumpy coming up to the line. He improves, but only to 8th. He can't get better than a 24.6. Got one of the Alfa Romeos now. That will be Super Gamer. He's on his second lap on the soft tyres now as well. Let's see if he's improving. Can he get into the top 10? He had good pace on the medium tyres. Let's see if his pace on the softs can match it. 24.9. He goes P11, so he can't quite crack the top 10, but does improve. Having a look further in behind, we've got Hardy now coming up to the line. Is he going to improve? He's slightly down at the end of the second sector. And he's still down, so he can't improve either. So it's just between the two Red Bulls, and Damon's invalidated his final run. It was only a 24.7 in the end. Is Panther going to extend his pole position time? J. Luke to the line now. J. Luke steals pole.
Wow.
Is Panther going to improve? He does.
Oh,
look how close. Incredible.
0.005 of a second.
Oh my word. I think Panther must have been thinking right at that last moment that he had lost it, but 0.005 of a second between the top 2 on the grid. Incredible effort from J. Luke. He had a couple of invalidations in the session. He nearly got it in the end, but 0.005 of a second off pole position. Panther is the pole position holder for the final pre-season race.
That was an intense last run. Unbelievable how J. Cole snatched pole and then Big Panther answers immediately and grabs it by 0.005 of a second.
Wow, that is incredible. So to run you through the 14 finishers of qualifying, then it's Panther that takes pole position by 0.005 of a second. 24.2 at the front of the grid. Great qualifying times in the end. Damon takes 3rd in the other Red Bull. Good showing for both Red Bull drivers. He's on a 24-4 ahead of Eloise Mark in 4th, Callum 5th, Hardy 6th, J. Cole 7th, Bree 8th, Stumpy 9th, Jonas in 10th. Super Gamer, Eduk, Goldie and Pelly all start outside the top 10, so they have the opportunity to start on the alternate strategy. But 1st to 13th, 0.8 of a second covers basically the entire field. Obviously, Pelly didn't get a competitive time in, but basically the entire field covered by 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, and that's brilliant to see. Of course, in Division 3, it looks like it's going to be a very close division this season.
Yeah, hats off to the organisers for sorting these divisions out, because you seem to have hit the nail on the head with Division 3.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting to see. I think everyone outside the top 10 might start on the medium tires this race. It's going to be interesting to see. But what are your predictions for the race?
That is a hard one, because well, I just don't know. I think I'm going to predict... I think J-Luke may have the better race pace just based on what we've seen previously. So I'm going to go for J-Luke for the win. I know J-Luke is watching the stream. He set a couple of comments in. So apologies, J-Luke, if we've just cursed you. But I'm going to say J-Luke for the win, and I think we'll have a double Red Bull podium. So I think it will be J-Luke, Panther, Damon on the podium. I don't think we're going to see much difference to qualifying in terms of the final podium positions. What are your predictions for the race?
I think, yeah, it's actually almost the same, really. I think J-Luke is going to grab it, Panther in second, and I'm going to say Callum on the last podium spot.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
Callum has good pace in that car.
Yeah, Callum did have good pace and unfortunately invalidated his final run along with a number of people, both racing points. Bree as well made a mistake on his laps. Jonas couldn't improve on P10. Let's have a look at the tyre strategies then outside of the top 10. See what everyone is on. So, Super Gamer and Caesar. Obviously, Caesar joined midway through qualifying, so he's at the back of the grid. He's starting on the softs, as is Super Gamer in 11th. Ida, Goldie and Pelly, surprisingly, the only three to go for the medium tyres.
Yeah, medium tyres are obviously a very good race tyre. They can almost go the entire race distance, basically. But, yeah, we'd see Super Gamer not on the medium tyres, especially if there's a late safety car. If you start on the medium, that could be a great advantage. Absolutely,
yeah. I know that one from experience. Obviously, Division 2 last season, you were in the net race lead of the race, and I was outside the points, and there was a safety car at the end, and we were both on completely different strategies, and it almost won me the race. So the tyre performance around this track between the softs and the mediums is actually very minuscule. So I think the main thing that Eduk, Goldie and Pelly are going to want at this point in the race is they are going to want to latch onto the back of the train that forms with the soft runners. They're not going to want to fall behind, because falling out the DRS here could be massively influential in this race, couldn't it?
Yeah, of course. If you have DRS on around this track, it's very hard for the car ahead to break away from that 1 second range. It's going to be the first 3 laps are going to be very important for medium runners, and the same actually for the soft runners. Trying to get that gap, because if you have that 1 second gap, you can actually pull away.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to break that 1 second window is going to be one of the key things to look out for at the start of this race, as with obviously damage being on for the first time this season. So that's one thing to look out for as well. Who keeps their nose clean at turn 1? It's very easy to come into contact at Abbey just on high fuel alone. It's very easy to understeer here, but we are almost ready to go for the final pre-season race of the season. Let's wait and see then who's going to get the best start. Is it going to be the Red Bulls that lead into turn 1? Is J-Luke going to beat Panther off the line? Who's going to get the best run then? Here we go. Here come the lights then ahead of the drivers. 3, 4 and then 5 lights. Long hole. Breeze already jumped the start by the looks of things. Breeze got a drive through. He came to a stop. Forwards off the line though. J-Luke's got a brilliant start. He's on the inside coming into turn 1. They're still side by side, but I think Panther's just going to hold on for the time being. Coming into turn 3, J-Luke sends one down the inside. Is he late enough on the brakes? There's tiny bit of contact, but they get away with it. Bit of contact further behind, I think. Yeah, I think Callum had contact from behind. Caesar's been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location, so he's already out of the race. So it's J-Luke who's on the... Yeah, both Williams have spun. Yes, as you say, Jonas is out of the running at the back of the field. Here comes J-Luke though down the inside, very Vettel reminiscent of the inside of Brooklands, but gets on the traction too early at Brooklands. He runs wide. Here comes Damon down the inside, but the gap is just squeezed off by J-Luke, who gets a brilliant run out of Luffield. We're right on board with him. Is he close enough? Coming up to Cops. He's not going to be close enough for a move into Cops for the time being. Panther holds on. just ahead of J-Luke, and then it's Damon in third, Mark fourth, top six actually have held all the same positions off the line, so a relatively good start for the stop at the top. Stumpy up into 7th, Super Gamer update, Pelly up to 9th, he's had a brilliant start from 14th on the grid, he's the lead medium right ahead of Ed UK. Here comes out of Chapel, J-Luke hit the grass through Chapel, Damon's on the back of him. Is Damon going to go down the inside at Stowe? He's looking down the inside, they're both on the overtake. Who's going to be brave enough on the brakes? Damon very late on the brakes into Stowe, J-Luke has to take the wide line, and it's a Red Bull 1-2. He is derating coming down into Stowe, so too much overtake usage for J-Luke, and Damon's now breezed past up into 2nd place. So J-Luke caught out trying to pass Big Panther, made him, and it's now a Red Bull 1-2 at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, it seems like we have a little bit of a timing glitch, but Big Panther is leading the race, and I think Super Game is really close to the back of Stumpy. He might go for a dive, and he does. Stumpy is coasting on my screen at least, and Super Game as well.
I think they might be able to see each other on track just based on this. Might be a little bit similar to the timing glitch. Not quite sure what positions they are in the moment. I think this is about off a 7th currently. Just wait until the timing beam sorts himself out. But Super Gamer back down the inside once again, coming through Brooklands, and Stumpy runs wide. Super Gamer's made the move stick. He's up into 7th place. Here comes Pelly around the outside on the medium tyres, and he get past. Stumpy, a little bit of a road. Exit. Yeah, it's a little bit of a roadblock is Stumpy at the moment. He's going to go all the way around the outside of Cops. Is he going to get the move done before Cops? He is. Brilliant run from Pelly. Up into, I believe, he's up into 8th place in this race, just based on what I'm looking at in the timing being. Stumpy, after a relatively decent start, starting to fall back through the field again.
Yeah, and J-Luke has looked like, or never mind, it's a timing glitch, but no, I thought someone lost DRS, my bad. But Big Panther has a big gap, it seems, at the front right now.
Yeah, it looks like it might be over a second already between the two Red Bulls. I think Panther might have been able to break that gap. We'll have to wait and see. I think the timing beams have just updated themselves. We'll wait and see when we cross the line. Just not on everything happening further behind. Jonas and Goldie have had to pit for the hard tyres after damage. Bree has had to come in through penalty just now. Callum's also pitted as well, and he's put another set of... Oh, he hasn't pitted, so apologies. He just spun obviously to the back of the field. He's starting to recatch the field. But yeah, Panther now has a 1.5 second lead already.
And J. Cole's really close to the back of his Racing Point teammate, and Hardy actually makes a little mistake on their braking, and J. Cole looks like he gets past, and he does.
He's passing through. I wonder if it was a mistake or whether that was orchestrated. J. Cole was asking to be let through on Hardy, and J. Cole maybe has better race pace at this point. It looked almost orchestrated, or maybe it was a mistake. We won't know really until maybe some sort of comment comes in. Super Game has caught this coup very quickly already. Stumpy has repassed Pelly, so Pelly's made a mistake somewhere, and both Ferraris have got back past him. So Stumpy's back up into 8th, but already the top 7 have broken away from the rest of the field. J-Luke picks up a 3-second time penalty already. I noticed someone else picked up a 3-second time penalty. I think it might have been Hardy that picked one up, but he looks like to Jonas has spun, and Damon picks up a penalty now. Oh, J-Cole in the back of Mark. In the...
J-Luke!
Has J-Luke gone round? He has. J-Luke spun on the exit of Apple. I think he's managed to get the wall by the looks of things, but J-Luke from 3rd place has spun the car. He hasn't got any damage, so he can continue on, but a disaster for J-Luke. At the same time as that was happening, J. Cole ran into the back of Mark in the second part of Beckett, and Hardy has repassed his Racing Point teammate, and now the Red Bulls are clear out in front, but Damon has already got a time penalty in this race. Mark now up into 3rd, Hardy 4th, J. Cole 5th, Super Gamer up into 6th. What a dream start for the Alfa Romeo man.
Yeah, Super Gamer looks like he's flying in this car. He's almost hounding the back of J. Cole right now, as both Racing Points are hounding the back of Renault Mark ahead. And looks like Mark is kind of holding a train right now.
Yeah, this is exactly...
As we've seen multiple times in the D2 season last year.
As to Jonas. Sorry to cut in there. Jonas has crashed. Oh, full safety car. Wow. So Jonas has crashed on the exit of Cops by the looks of things on those hard tyres, and we have a full safety car. So this brings a lot of people that were out of the running at the back. So the likes of Callum, J-Luke, Bree and Goldie, they're all back in this fight now. Do we see anyone come into the pits? As Goldie's actually picked up a drive-through for speeding.
That's very unfortunate.
That is a shame. He's going to have to serve that drive-through once the safety car comes back in. So that's going to take him back out of the running. Excuse me. It's going to take him out of the running once again. But after a pretty frenetic opening 4 laps to this race, we'll run you through the order. So it's a Red Bull 1-2, Panther and Damon leading. But this safety car is not what Panther or Damon wanted. There was a bit of a queue forming behind Mark, and that was allowing them to get away. But at this point in the race, would you come into the pit lane?
I think it might be a good option for either. I mean, if Big Panther goes into pits,
Yeah, he is.
I think Damon should stay out.
He's not.
But,
He's coming in. He's coming in. But Mark stayed out. Mark has stayed out, and so has Hardy by the looks of things. So both. J. Cole into the pit lane. Oh, one of the Ferraris is off the road there. That's Stumpy. And Stumpy's actually sped in the pit lane because of it, unfortunately. He got caught out by Super Gamer going slowly in front of him. So that is, yeah, Super Gamer into the pit lane as well. So both Red Bulls in. I think Damon slowed a little bit to try and null the effects of being held up in the pit lane, but it hasn't worked, and it might actually mean he gets jumped by even more people. Here's Stumpy in. So Stumpy's put the hard tyres on. Both Red Bulls have gone for the medium tyres. J. Cole's gone for the medium tyres, and Super Gamer's gone for the hard. So a real mix of strategies.
Yeah, and Damon has lost 4 positions.
Oh, wow, yeah.
After this.
Comes out behind Super Gamer. Callum comes into the pit lane, as does J. Luke. They've both put the hard tyres on. Let's see if Bree comes. Actually spun. So Bree's passed the pit lane and then spun at the final corner. So his opportunity of maybe passing some people behind the safety car has gone after that spin. Having a look at the people then. So this is the running order now after that. So Mark and Hardy on the soft tyres have decided to stay out. They're the only ones that stayed out so far. They stayed out ahead, so it's Eduk now into 3rd place. He's the lead person on the alternate strategy. He's ahead of Pelly in 4th. And then, behind them, it's the people that have pitted. So Panther's now 5th on the road, ahead of J. Cole in 6th. They're both on the mediums. Stumpy's made his way up into 3rd place of all the people that have pitted in all of this. Ahead of Super Gamer, they're both on the hards. Damon's dropped, like you say, 3 places behind this because of obviously double stacking in the pit stops. He's come out in 9th on the mediums. Callum and J. Luke 10th and 11th on the hards, and then it's Bree and Goldie at the back of the field. But
yeah, I don't know if it was smart for Damon to pit behind his teammate, because this has lost him in quite a few positions. But if you look at it, the medium tires can actually probably last to the end of the race.
Yeah, also depends obviously how long the safety car's going to stay out. But the problem really, it was kind of a lose-lose situation for Damon there. If he pitted, he obviously would have got held up and he's dropped a few places. But obviously the 2 drivers in front of him on the hard, so he will have a pace advantage in these early laps after the safety car restart. But if he stays out and then pits around lap 10 or 11, he's going to come out way behind this queue of cars that are all going to form behind Mark and Hardy. So he'll be almost a pit stop behind the people he was already racing with. So I think, honestly, him pitting behind the safety car might have been a lesser of 2 evils.
Yeah, that could be the case, obviously. We don't know if there might be a late safety car in this race, but yeah, I think it might have been just take the bullet right now and benefit from it later. I think that's the best option indeed.
Absolutely. He's going to want to try and pass Stumpy and Super Gamer relatively quickly as well and latch onto the back of J. Cole and his teammate Panther, who are both on the medium tyres. And just based on the pace at the start of the race, Stumpy looked to struggle on the early stages of the stint, so Stumpy may hold Super Gamer up at the start, and that would be a good opportunity for Damon to maybe pass the hard runners. But it's going to be a case of whether they can take those mediums to the end. But like we said earlier on, tyre wear around this track is not really a concern, so maybe taking the mediums to the end is not going to be too much of a problem for these guys.
No, I don't think so, and especially for the cars ahead on hard tyres, they'll make it to the end of the race quite easily. And someone who's benefited from this safety car is J. Luke after he spun, and he's now only 2 position, or sorry, he's a P11 and Damon's in P9, and he was battling Damon for P2 during the first few laps of the race, and now he hasn't lost that much.
Yeah, exactly, and it's worked out well for Callum as well. Obviously, Callum was involved in an incident at the start of the race. He got spun around at turn 3. He was in 5th. He was 5th on the grid, so he's managed to work his way back up into this fight. But it'll be interesting to see how this tyre strategy plays out. I wonder whether we'll get going this lap. We might have to wait another lap because of Goldie. I'll have to wait and see how quickly Goldie can catch the queue of cars, whether he can catch them in time for the safety car to come in. It might be right on the bubble actually, but I think we might have another lap. Right on board with Gold as he comes through Maggers and Beckett's. He is absolutely pushing to try and catch the safety car queue.
I think we have another lap.
It does look like it. We have passed the Sector 2 split line already. So the safety car doesn't look like it's going to be coming in this lap. No, it's going to be staying out for another lap by the things. Actually, never mind. It's changed its mind, so it is coming in. So safety car is coming in this lap. Bit of a late call. Goldie caught the queue just in time, but now it's Mark that controls the pace of the field. He's backed right off. Let's wait and see when he goes. Is he going to go before the corner? He's running at quite a high speed at the moment. People in behind are really trying to back. They're trying to back everyone up at the moment. He's trying to back everyone up. It's a bit spaced out. But we are going now, so Mark leads them away then for the safety car restart, and he's got a brilliant restart. Callum has caught Damon napping by the looks of things into turn 1. Callum's up into 9th. Damon's dropped down into 10th and is under pressure.
Super Gamer lost the car.
Oh, I just caught that out the corner of my eye. Yeah, he's lost the car. He falls behind Damon and he's side by side with Jay Luke now. See if they are still side by side through the loop. Jay Luke sends one down the inside. Super Gamer moves out the way almost, and they come out of the loop then, so Super Gamer drops down into 11th place, but Callum caught Damon napping, but here comes Damon back at him down into Brooklands. Going to go to the inside line. Will he get the move stuck into the corner? He's down the inside. Callum leaves him just enough room on the inside. Damon's going to have to go round the outside now of Luffield. Will he have the grip to do so? They almost bang wheels once again, but Damon's on. They're still side by side coming up to Cops. Damon uses his overtake. Is he going to cut to the inside before Cops' corner? Callum looks like he's still going to have the line for the corner. Damon has to back out. Callum stays in P8 for the time being. But looking further up the field, Mark has had a brilliant safety car restart. He's 1.5 seconds clear of Hardy already.
Oh, Pelly just spun across the track.
Oh, he has, yeah. I didn't quite catch that, but Pelly has spun across the track and has hit the wall. Unfortunately, he's retired from the session. So that's put Panther now up into P4, and he's on the back of Educk, who is the lead person starting on the medium tyres, looking him further behind. Callum and Damon still going at it, but Callum holds the place for the time being. And we now have a virtual safety car for Pelly's crash.
Yes, Pelly spun through Maggots and Beckers. That was
Mark and Hardy are in.
Risky.
And Educk is in. And Educk is in as well. Wow, so Educk deciding not to stay out and then put the softs on the end. He's come in, but he's also sped in the pit lane. So all those guys are into the pits now. So now Panther really takes the lead of this race. J. Cole's managed to work his way up into 2nd place. Bree also picks up a 3-second tyre penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Mark and Hardy have put the mediums on. Educk has put the hard tyres on. So completely different strategies from these guys, but look how far behind the field they have now fallen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised why Educk pitted, because he was on the medium tyres and now he's on the hard tyres, and those hard tyres aren't the best race tyre because they're usually quite like a second slower to the medium tyres, especially in the beginning of your stint. It's weird to be honest, but Stumpy.
Yeah, Stumpy from 3rd place on the hard tyres. He picks up a speeding penalty, so he's got a drive through for speeding under the virtual safety car. That's going to take him out of podium contention. So now it's a battle between Callum and Damon for P3 on the road. Damon's still hounding the back of that Williams car, but can't find a way through just yet. Obviously, DRS has not been enabled. Goldie's worked his way back up into 8th place after an atrocious start to this race. I don't know if he's taken his drive through yet. He might have to take it this lap. We'll wait and see. J. Luke in 6th then, and Super Gamer currently in 7th after his little mistake. J. Luke had a bit of a snap there on the exit of Beckett's, so he's just far enough ahead of Super Gamer to not fall under any pressure. Damon's still not close enough to Callum to make a move into Stowe, so Damon stays in P5 for the time being. Does Stumpy come in yet? Stumpy coming in to serve his drive-through. Let's see if Goldie's serving his one as well. He is. So both of them into the pit lane for their drive-through penalties.
Damon needs to make this move on Callum as quickly as possible.
He absolutely does. Callum 2.5 seconds behind J. Cole already, and Big Panther another 1.6 seconds clear of J. Cole himself. So his teammates getting away at front, but now DRS is enabled, so this is Damon's best chance now of getting past Callum, and he is right behind him coming through the loop. This looks like it could be an easy move if Damon gets good traction. It looks like he has. So Damon on the overtake very early. But it's not a long run down to Brooklands, and Callum using all of his overtake to defend. Does Damon go to the inside? He does. Callum, though, shuts the door on him. Callum holds the place for the time being.
Yeah, I think Damon's looking for the overtake on the hanger straight, but he's really close to the back of Callum. He might have a look up into Cops.
This is going to be risky if he can pull it off. He's backed out already. He's turned his overtake off and he's let Callum hold the place for the time being. So Callum stays in P3, but Callum, oh my word, he was a little bit sideways there coming out of Cops, but just managed to hold it. Can Damon stick close enough through Maggots and Beckett's to have a go down the hanger straight? We'll run a wall with him. Look how much momentum he was carrying there through the second part of Beckett's. He nearly caught and slammed into the back of Callum there. It almost kind of caught him out, really, how fast he caught him. Here he comes up into Stowe, but again, he just doesn't have enough overtake or enough straight line speed to get close enough to Callum. He does look to the inside, though. He has a little bit of a late dive. Callum runs a little bit wide, so Damon's going to have the outside line for Vale, which will turn into the inside for Club if he's late enough on the brakes. Oh, but he turns in too early, hits the side of Callum's car. I don't know if he's picked up any damage from that. It looks like he hasn't, but he's fallen behind both of the Alfa Romeos. This safety car restart has really fallen apart for Damon.
Yeah, just turning a little bit too early into Callum, and that has unfortunately cost him, and he spun and lost 2 positions. And yeah, now he's behind 2 cars, and especially when he's third in the DRS train. This is going to be a difficult one to overtake.
Looks like J-Luke is really struggling at the moment on these hard tyres. Super Gamer, after his mistake, is now swarming all over the back of his teammate. Got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Stumpy is retired from the race, unfortunately. That's such a shame to see. There were 12 people in the race, so obviously it's a pre-season race, but this would have scored in points if it was an official race this time round. Pit window is technically open for the people that are on the softs, but everyone has pitted at this point in the race. Eduk has also retired, so both Ferraris have retired from the race in the pit lane already.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see.
It is a shame, especially if there's a late safety car. They could have definitely been brought back into this one, and they could have pitted and put a set of soft tyres on. Having a look at ERS usage currently, Panther is already out of ERS. He's completely used his ERS to pull away from J. Cole, which is fair enough. He's got a 3.2 second lead. J. Cole's only got 30%, so not much more in reserve, but he's used his ERS very quickly, and the person with the most ERS at the moment is Super Gamer on 70%. As Panther's actually into the pit lane.
Very fast.
Why is Panther into the pit lane? Did Panther pick up a drive-through at any point, I wonder? Did we miss that?
I don't think so.
I didn't see one pop up, but it looks like he has. Yeah, he's got a drive-through penalty. So Panther's picked up a drive-through penalty at some point in this race, and we've completely missed it. It might have been at the virtual safety car restart, and that we might have missed it because Stumpy also got one. But Panther, from an easy race lead, is now out in 6th place and well off the back of the queue for the race win.
Yeah,
15 and a half seconds. Yeah,
16
seconds. Wow, that is incredible. So 16 seconds. Oh, and he has a massive slide there through Farm and Village. But yeah, Panther 16 seconds off the back of his teammate. He's, at this point, thrown away an easy win by the looks of things.
Yeah, he was 3 seconds ahead of J. Cole going for serving his drive-through. Weird how we didn't even catch that drive-through pop-up in the bottom left of the corner, because that is actually crucial for the race.
I think it's because he probably got it at the same time as Stumpy, and because Stumpy is further behind on the track, it's drive-through penalty instead of Panthers, and we probably just didn't see it. But that's likely where he caught it. Actually, looking at the stream chat, Tiger's just put in a comment saying that is where he got it. He got it at the end of the VSC. So Panther speeding behind the virtual safety car, and he's picked up a drive-through penalty. So that now means J. Cole takes the lead of the race on the medium tyres. He's got a 3-second lead over Callum, who has somehow worked his way up into 2nd place in this race.
Yeah, that is weird, because Callum got spun around on lap 1, and he's now into 2nd place and looking for a good points finish.
He's starting to drop J. Cole now as well, and Super Gamer is swarming all over the back of his Alfa Romeo teammate. Damon's there as well to pounce if they make some sort of mistake, but J-Luke at this point in the race on those hard tyres is really struggling, especially in traction zones. As you can see there, he's just kind of squirreling all over the place. He doesn't have any traction at all. Super Gamer has a lot of overtake in reserve to get past his teammate, but he just isn't making the move at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for a better moment to do it, because J-Luke is using most of his ERS on the straights, and I think if Super Gamer decides to use a little bit right now, so he could close in, through before Maggots and Beckett's, and then he might have the overtake on the hanger straight.
Absolutely, yeah. J-Luke just touching the grass a little bit on the way into Cox, but gets up with it. But J-Luke has caught Callum by half a second in the early stages of this lap. Is again run out of ERS, so they're kind of burning through their ERS very quickly at the moment. J-Luke a bit offline there, but so is Super Gamer. Damon might be close enough maybe to make a move, but he hasn't got a lot of overtake to use himself either, and he's at the back of a 4-car DRS train, so he's not gaining anything in a straight line at the moment. And he actually is going to run very wide at start.
Callum's rear almost went out of stow.
Wow.
But yeah, as you said, Damon is in 4th in a DRS train. This is not the place to be, especially when he's on fresher tires. He needs to make these moves, but because the cars ahead of him have DRS, it's going to be very difficult for him.
Absolutely. I don't want to predict anything too hastily, but there's 14 laps to go in this race. Panther has just taken 1.3 seconds out of his teammate in one lap. In one lap, he's caught his teammate by 1.3 seconds. Is it possible that Panther could actually catch the back of this queue before the end of this race?
That would be insane.
That would be
incredible.
Yeah. If he's able to do that, hats off to Panther, and especially if they start fighting, it's going to make it even easier. But look, even in the first sector, down to 14.2, he's absolutely flying.
I think Damon is getting held up quite a lot by the hard runners ahead of him, though.
He definitely
But
is.
still,
by the
that
look of
is
things.
it's very impressive to catch that amount of time, just one sector. Like the time is just going down and down.
Yeah.
It's very fast.
Let's wait and see then what he can do. Again, J-Luke really struggling through Maggots and Beckett's, and it holds Super Gamer and Damon up. Damon again not close enough to make a move into Stowe because he's at the back of this queue. And J-Luke just close enough to Callum to take DRS off of him, so he's able to defend from his teammate. But Super Gamer, I think, starting to get a little bit frustrated being that close to him. See if he goes for a move. Super Gamer does look like the faster of the hard runners at the moment, so if he was able to pass J-Luke, he'd be straight on Callum, and he probably might have a chance at catching J. Cole, who now has a 4-second lead over the hard runners behind. Obviously, J. Cole still has to manage his tyres towards the end. J-Luke, meanwhile, picks up a 3-second time penalty. If you can keep an eye on the penalties for me, we've had a lot of penalties so far in this race, and we're only just past the halfway point. Again, Panther.
J. Cole has a penalty as well in first place.
I think he does, yeah. Again, Panther, 1.3 seconds faster that lap. I mean,
but he does have 20% DRS.
He does, yeah. But just looking at the queue in front of him, Callum only has 30, as does J-Luke, as does Damon. Damon actually has 40. Super Gamer has nearly 90%. Super Gamer has so much more ERS than the guys in front. If he has one push lap, he could easily breeze past his teammate in Callum, surely, who actually, Callum's now starting to come under pressure a little bit from J-Luke now.
Yeah, they're really close together to the Maggots and Beckett's. J-Luke hasn't been the strongest through Maggots and Beckett's though during this section. Let's see if it's different this lap, and it looks like it's much better this lap, even though he missed the effect slightly through Chapel.
Again offline. He's not going to be close enough by the looks of things. He's using all of his overtake to catch back up to Callum, but again, another mistake in Maggots and Beckett's, and J-Luke can't get close enough, so I think he's going to have to make his move somewhere else. He's going to have to hope maybe from a mistake from Callum. But actually, looking at the lap times this time round, Callum's actually closing in ever so slightly on J. Cole. It's been about 2/10 this lap. Callum's caught J. Cole a little bit. So J. Cole's medium tyres, he hasn't quite got the pace by the looks of it that especially Panther has at this point on those medium tyres. He's kind of struggling to really build a gap.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have to build a gap. He's just, I think he's comfortable in front right now. And I mean, I haven't really had my eye on the gap between Callum and J. Cole, but it looks like Callum is closing in just a little bit each lap.
It does look like that at the moment,
bringing the other cars with him as well.
Yeah, he's definitely bringing the hard runners and Damon behind him with him at the moment. Callum's starting to ever so slightly close in, but he's coming under increasing pressure now from J-Luke, who's starting to ever so slightly drop Super Gamer. It's still pretty close. It's still about 4/10 between each car, but J-Luke looking a bit more comfortable now at this point in the race on those hard tyres. He struggled early on, but he's kind of got into a bit of a rhythm now. Let's have a look at him through Maggots and Beckett's this time round. Is he neater? A bit neater this time around, but again has to take 2 bites at turning into the second part. And look, Callum just cleaned.
Super really close now.
Yeah, is he close enough to make a move? He's on his overtake. J-Luke doesn't have as much, but again, the straight line speed of J-Luke in that Alfa Romeo, Super Gamer just can't get close enough to make a move.
I think if Super Gamer just uses his ERS right now, he would have maybe had a look up the inside of J-Luke. I think Super Gamer has to look for a different overtake.
He's actually really close here. Let's see if he might go for a move maybe into turn 3. He's on his overtake. J-Luke moves to the inside. J-Luke's actually going to let him go. So J-Luke, bit of team orders there. J-Luke's let Super Gamer go. Super Gamer now having a go at Callum. Let's see what Super Gamer's pace is like. Can he latch onto Callum and pass him?
He's already really close behind Callum. Super Gamer is looking very fast right now.
He does look the fastest of the 2 Alfa Romeos. Here we go. And not really going to be close enough to Brooklands. He is closing in quite a bit though, so let's see. We obviously seen J-Luke struggle quite a bit through Maggots and Beckett, so let's wait and see whether Super Gamer is a bit neater through there and can stay closer to Callum, who looks... Callum is fast at the moment in all the right places. He is very fast through Maggots and Beckett, and it's giving him a big enough gap down the hangar straight. But here comes Super Gamer now using that excess ERS. Look how much he's closing towards Cops. Callum touches the grass slightly on the way in. He's going to run a little bit wide, but gets away with it. Here we go. Meanwhile, further in behind, Panther's got the gap down between him and his teammate to 12 seconds. It's not as big of a decrease in time this time round. But again, Callum really strong through Maggots and Beckett's. But here comes Super Gamer now. He's got excess overtake. Here he goes to the inside. And he's going to make the move stick, is he? Here comes Callum trying to do the switchback, but doesn't have the momentum to do it. But Callum's on the overtake button. Damon picks up a time penalty at Stowe. Super Gamer keeps the inside open for Callum, allows him the space, but Super Gamer's going to get the move done. Oh, and Callum gets a big snap of oversteer as well. Is J-Luke going to be close enough to capitalise? He's on his overtake button. Can he get past Callum maybe into turn 3? He's got the momentum through turn 1, but a little bit of a side. Super Gamer picks up a time penalty. Here goes J-Luke to the inside. One Alfa Romeo gets past J-Luke. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there. J-Luke's round as well because of it. J-Luke, with that contact, has managed to spin the car. Not J-Luke, sorry, Callum, unfortunately. Callum has managed to spin his Williams. So Callum around for the second time this race at turn 3, and he's fallen from second all the way down to 5th.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch what happened on the onboards, but very unfortunate for Callum, losing 2 positions in 1 lap, and now he's actually spun and lost.
I think Mark has had a moment as well further down the field. He's spun at the Vale Club chicane by the looks of things. He's managed to drop the car, unfortunately. So his race, it went horribly wrong with the pit strategy that he had, and it's all fallen apart from this point onwards for him, unfortunately. He's currently running in stone dead last. Now let's see whether the Alfa Romeos can actually catch J. Cole. The gap has kind of extended a little bit in that kind of fighting phase with Callum. It's up to 4.3. Can J. Cole hold on to this lead, do you think?
I think he can. He built a little bit of a gap during the first safety car, and I think catching 4 seconds in 9 laps is going to be a big task for Super Gamer.
It definitely is. Meanwhile, Damon on the back of these Alfa Romeo cars, I think he's starting to struggle with his medium tyres because he's not as close to the Alfa Romeos as he was. He can't quite keep up with them at the moment. He's still within DRS range, but he's not threatening the back of them like he was at the start of the stint, so maybe his medium tyres are starting to go off. Have to have a look at Panther, whether he can close in on Callum and take P5 in this race and salvage a top 5 from this one. Having a look further down the field as well, obviously people running in completely different parts of the track at the moment. Goldie running in P7 ahead of Bree in P8 after their drive-through penalties. Hardy running in 9th ahead of Mark in 10th after his late spin. Having a look at the front of the field, Super Gamer, J. Cole does look to be struggling a bit in the first sector of the lap. That seems to be his weak point at the moment.
Yeah, I think maybe Super Gamer might be running a little bit of a higher downforce setup, where he gains a little bit of time through the first sector. But look at that, he just gained 2 tenths through Cops alone.
And Damon now only 2 tenths behind J-Luke. J-Luke touches the grass slightly. Damon's going to get a great run here. Oh, he's not though. He takes too much inside curb. And that's again J-Luke escaping out front. Guys, people are really struggling in the dirty air coming through Maggots and Beckett's. They can't seem to get a good run behind the car in front. And we're not really seeing many overtakes into Stowe at the moment.
Yeah, it's very difficult to follow a car close behind in Maggots and Beckett's, and we've only seen Super Gamer make the move on Callum, I think.
I think him and then Damon on the first lap, but that was with a mistake from J-Luke. So it is people are really struggling to make the move stick coming down into Stowe. They can't get the run through Maggots and Beckett's, but we'll wait and see whether that changes this time round. Super Gamer about 4 tenths of a second faster than J. Cole on that last lap. It is a good improvement, but it's not enough at the moment to really challenge J. Cole. We'll have to wait and see whether J. Cole's tyres do burn out towards the end or whether Super Gamer can pick the pace up. He is dragging J-Luke and Damon with him. Big Panther, meanwhile, is taking chunks out of Callum's advantage. I think he's nearly a second a lap faster at the moment, so he's on for a top 5.
He does, however, have his fuel light on, so he might be running a little bit low on fuel at the end of the race. But yeah, brilliant pace. Big Panther has brilliant pace in his Red Bull car.
Once again, J-Luke seems to struggle coming up to Cops and then through Cops, and again Damon's on the back of him through Maggots and Beckett's. He's a lot closer this time round. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? J-Luke again gets DRS with the car in front, and Damon has no ERS to attack. J-Luke has actually brilliant car in a straight line. He actually pulled away from Damon down the hanger straight. So passing J-Luke is going to be a massive order for Damon in this one. He's going to have to wait for a mistake from the Alfa Romeo man, surely.
Yeah, or maybe Super Gamer pulling out. Super Gamer getting a second ahead of J-Luke might be crucial as well. Time for Damon to try and overtake J-Luke. And in the meantime, Super Gamer has caught up to J. Cole quite massively.
Oh wow, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. I didn't notice that. Yeah, down to 3.3. He's taken 6, nearly 7 tenths out of him in the last lap. And he is nearly dropping J. Luke. It's 8 tenths of a second. It's almost at that point, like you say, where J. Luke is out of DRS. And that could be costly for him. But yeah, Super Gamer now starting to pick the pace up a little bit. I don't know whether he's actually picked the pace up or J. Core's pace is starting to drop off. We've still got 7 laps to go in this race. So it's not out of the question that Super Gamer could still take this win from 11th on the grid. It's been a great drive so far from Super Gamer, to say the least. If he's able to win this race from 11th on the grid on a set of hard tyres, that is a brilliant result.
Yeah, he has brilliant pace in his car. I mean, he had a brilliant start. He made up a couple of positions, but his hard stint has been, quite frankly, insane. And yeah, hats off to him. And he's closing it again on J. Cole a couple of times.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's not going well for Renault today. Breeze just had a spin coming out of the loop by the looks of things. Both Renaults running in the last 2 positions on the track at the moment, 9th and 10th. Been a bit of a disastrous day for them. Just looking further up the field then. So J. Cole, it's 2.9 seconds now, so it's come down again.
Big Panther goes around the outside of Callum through Stowe.
Wow. Just caught the end of that, but...
Yeah.
Wow, stellar move from Panther. He made that look so easy.
Yeah, that was insane. He had so much closing in speed, and he just breezed past Callum around the outside of Stowe. And now he's only 10 seconds behind Damon.
Wow.
I think Big Panther he's been the fastest in the race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for that drive-through penalty, Tiger said he just sped by almost nothing, and cost him massively, but he has recovered well, and hats off to him for still pushing.
Absolutely, yeah. Hats off to him for not giving up and staying on the track and continuing on. And yeah, I agree with you in terms of race pace. Had that obviously speeding penalty not come in for Panther, Panther would have been up and gone at the front of the field. I'm pretty convinced of that one. He's got absolutely crazy race pace at the moment. He's nearly a second a lap faster than almost everyone on the field at the moment, which is crazy to think, considering he only got pole by 5 thousandths of a second as Callum spun. Callum spun coming out of Copse and has hit the wall. Does that trigger some sort of safety car to finish this race off? That could bring Panther back into it. It looks like we might not get one though. I think we've got away with no safety car by the looks of things. So Callum spins, drops the car on the exit of Copse and is out of the race. That is such a shame for Callum. It's been a real disastrous race for him, and he ends the race in the wall.
Yeah, he had 2 spins in turn 3, unfortunately. I don't believe it was because of his own fault. I think he just had a little bit of contact, but yeah, it's been a very, very disappointing day. Although he had decent pace in the car, you always have to bring out the positives of your race day, and he has good pace in the car, and just very unfortunate for having those spins, and now of course crashing out of the race.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Super Gamer has now broken the DRS to J. Luke, so it is now over 1 second, so can Super Gamer now drop his teammate? That's the key at the moment. Damon, half a second back. J. Luke really wide there, coming out of Luffield, just about got away with it, but now that J. Luke is no longer in DRS range of his teammate, that means that Damon, this is the best shot for Damon to retake a podium place. Let's see if he can do it. Comes through Copse. He's running about half a second back at the moment. So wait and see if he can close up through Maggots and Beckett's. We know J. Luke has struggled through here throughout this entire race. J. Luke seems to get a better run though this time round, and Damon again taking too much inside curb and sliding the car and ruins his run down the hanger straight. And now the gap between J. Cole and Super Gamer, 2.2 seconds.
Super Gamer is closing in by quite some margin on J. Cole, who's now on quite worn medium tires. He's going to have to push He's going to have to push to finish this race in first.
Yeah, absolutely. This is about 17 lap old mediums is about how long you would take the medium tyres if this was a regular race with no safety cars. It probably would have been a pit from the softs to the mediums on around lap 9, lap 10. So this is kind of the end of their tyre life at the moment. They've got to go another 4 laps in this race. So let's see if J. Cole has managed to hold on to his tyres. Now that Super Gamer has broken DRS, he's nearly 7/10 a lap faster than his teammate. He's absolutely dropped him so far.
Yeah, that's it's very difficult to drop someone out of DRS, and the way Super Gamer has done it right now, he's already 8/10 clear after 1 lap basically. Brilliant stuff, and I think the best option for Damon right now is to save a little bit of ERS, let J-Lu use most of his ERS, and Damon needs to pounce on the last couple of laps.
Yeah, that definitely looks like the case at the moment. But as you say that, he's getting closer and closer. So it's down to 0.3 of a second. Can he keep close enough through Maggots and Beckett? J-Luke slightly touches the grass but holds onto the car. Again, they take very different lines in the second part of Beckett, but Damon is close, and this time round, is he close enough? He hasn't got a lot of ERS to use. Big Panther picks up a time penalty. J-Luke's going to go to the inside to defend by the looks of things. Always not. It's going to stay on the outside. Damon down the inside, laid on the brakes. Second time this race has done that to J-Luke. Damon down the inside at Stowe, and he's finally managed to get past the Alfa Romeo. Can J-Luke come back at him? He's not close enough, but Damon too late on the brakes for Vale Club chicane. J-Luke, can he get underneath him for turn 1? He's on his overtake. He's using it. Damon's not using his, so Damon's going to have to stay on the racing line. J-Luke back down the inside for turn 1. The Brub wheels just coming down into the corner. J-Luke has to lift off. So does Damon. Damon picks up a 3-second time penalty on the outside of the corner, and J-Luke retakes third place.
Wow. Damon had to turn a little bit of away out of J. Cole's way, but over J. Luke. What a brilliant fight between those two. Damon, of course, getting ahead of on the hanger straight, but J. Luke fighting back into turn 1. You usually don't see an overtake through turn 1.
No, you don't.
That was a brilliant one from J. Luke.
Yeah, great stuff from J-Luke. Great stuff to come back at Damon. Damon definitely has the pace advantage at the moment, but J-Luke spotted a weakness in Damon and capitalised on it and was able to get up the inside for turn 1. Good stuff from him, but Damon, again, close enough at the moment. But he's not going to save any ERS at this point in the lap before hanger straight. It's pretty much flat out from here, apart from a slight braking zone in Maggots and Beckett's. Just an update on the lead. Super Gamer's only brought it down to 1.9, so he's got 2 laps to go. It's going to have to be some stellar last 2 laps from Super Gamer to take this one away from J. Cole. Damon using all sorts of curve on the inside of Maggots and Beckett's, and again, Damon can't get the run through Maggots and Beckett's on J. Luke to get the move stuck.
Yeah, J. Luke must be running a very, very low downforce setup. He has insane straight line speed.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast that car is in a straight line, but look at that. He's 3 seconds off his teammate now after that little battle with Damon. Super Gamer has driven a sublime race in this one. Meanwhile, further behind, Panther, he's kind of backed off now. He's saved some fuel. He's not got any warning for fuel anymore. He's still 9 seconds behind Damon. And yeah, he's not really gaining anything in front, and he's 25 seconds clear of Goldie behind, so Panther's P5 is safe at the moment.
Super Gamer needs to catch J. Cole by 6/10 before the hanger straight, I think. If he wants a shot at an overtake on the final lap of the race.
I mean, he's doing all he can at the moment. He's taken 4/10 out of J. Cole in the first sector, so he's absolutely flying at the moment. It's down to 1.2. It's almost there for Super Gamer. It's within touching distance. Can he get close enough to get DRS down the hanger straight and close in for the final lap? It'll be a great showdown between these two if he can pull it off. And J. Cole definitely starts to struggle on his tyres. Here comes Super Gamer then. He's almost within DRS range. J. Cole a little bit wide through Cops as well. Does Super Gamer have the run to get DRS? He's going to be just outside. It's 1.2 seconds as he goes through Maggots and Beckett's. He's not going to have DRS down the hanger straight, but can he still keep close enough to J. Cole, who's a little bit wide there coming through Chapel? But Super Gamer's completely used up his ERS, but I say that, so is J. Cole. They're both running with virtually no ERS left. Super Gamer's 1.3 seconds back. It seems Super Gamer has the advantage in the early part of the lap, and J. Cole seems to be a bit stronger in the second half of the lap. Meanwhile, further behind, Damon still can't get the move stuck on J. Cole for P3. J-Luke, sorry, for P3. Coming on to the final lap of this race. Where has this race gone? We've had a safety car and 2 virtual safety cars in this race, and 1 virtual safety car in this race, sorry, and it feels like it's absolutely flown by. But here comes J. Cole then to start the final lap. He's got a 1.3 second advantage. He's had a great race. Don't take anything away from J. Cole. He's had a brilliant race this time round, but he's had a lot of pressure from in front and behind. Let's wait and see whether Super Gamer can get close enough. It's down to 1.2. Coming on to the Wellington straight. It looks like it's going to stay like that for the time being, unless a mistake creeps in for J. Cole. J-Luke, meanwhile, 4 seconds off the back of his teammate now, and Damon's still not close enough to make a move for third place. Mark, meanwhile, has put the set of the soft tyres on. Mark's going for the fastest lap of the race by the looks of things. See whether he can pull that one off. But at the moment, it does look like J. Cole has this one covered. Super Gamer's used all of his ERS to try and close in on J. Cole, but it's just out of reach for him at the moment.
Yeah, I think if Super Gamer had a couple more laps, he might have had a chance. But yeah, it looks like J. Cole's going to hold on to his win.
Brilliant drive still from J. Cole. Take nothing away from him. Panther may have got a drive-through penalty, and J. Cole may have been on a brilliant strategy, but take nothing away from him. He's had a brilliant race. He cleared out in front when he needed to and has held the lead ever since. Here he comes then through the final Vale and Club Chicane for the 26th and final time. It's going to come out of the chicane, and J. Cole's going to win the final pre-season race of the season for Division 3. He wins at Silverstone. Let's have a look for penalties, though. Super Gamer and J. Cole had the same amount of penalties, so it's the same 1-2. Here comes J. Luke across the line with Damon in behind. They're going to stay 3rd and 4th. Here comes Panther now across the line. He's definitely the fastest man on the field, but only manages a P5 in the end, which is such a shame for him. And he actually takes fastest lap on the last lap. What a final lap from Panther. A 27 flat on a set of 21 lap old medium tyres.
That is insane. I think Mark might look to grab that away from him.
Let's have a look and see whether he can.
All of his ERS.
Here he comes in across the line. Can he steal the fastest lap? He can by 9/10 of a second. Mark takes the fastest lap in P9. Goldie's going to cross the line in P6. Hardy's going to cross the line next in the other racing point in P7. A race of what could have been for a lot of these people at the back, especially Goldie, Hardy and Bree, all caught out by penalties and spins. Here comes Hardy then across the line in 7th place, and Bree will be the last man to finish. It's not really the best race for Bree. He had good qualifying pace, and the race pace at the start didn't look too bad, but his race kind of fell apart from then on. But that is the final pre-season race for Division 3, and J. Cole is the winner.
Congratulations to the podium finisher J. Cole, Super Gamer, and J. Luke, driven a brilliant race. And just to take a note on that final lap with Bree, I saw that he had a little bit of brake input on the straights, so that might be something. There might be something wrong with his equipment, because on my screen he had a little bit of a his brake was he just had a little bit of brake input on his MFD.
That would be such a shame if that is the case for Bree. If that is the case, hopefully if that is the case, hopefully he gets that fixed before the first race next week, because we know that Bree is definitely a possible contender for the championship. He was last season before Ben's utter domination in the second half of the season. But here we go then. Here are the final results for the final pre-season race before the season starts next week in Australia. So J. Cole, sorry, I'm going to get these guys mixed up all season long. We did all the entire race and it's going to happen. So apologies for that. But J. Cole takes the win ahead of Super Gamer from 11th on the grid into P2. What a drive from Super Gamer. J. Luke takes the final podium place. What could have been really for him had he not had that spin early on in the race. 3rd for him. Same for Damon, really. Unfortunately, after being held up in the pit stops, he finishes 4th ahead of Panther 5th. Arguably, I'd probably easily say the fastest man on the track today was Panther. He finishes P5 after a drive-through penalty. Goldie crosses the line in 6th. Hardy 7th. Bree 8th. Mark 9th with the fastest lap, and he's the final finisher. A lot of big names retiring from that race. Callum, Edux, Stumpy, Pelly, Jonas, and Caesar all retiring from the final pre-season race.
Yeah, who should drive for the day, Aiden?
I could give it to 3 different people for 3 different reasons, honestly. I think driver of the day for me, I'm going to give driver of the day to Super Gamer. I think for coming through the field from 11th on the grid, soft to hard strategy, pinning when he did, working his way through the field, being very smart with his overtakes. We saw a lot of people going for a lot of overtakes as soon as they got to there. Super Gamer waited for the right moments and made the overtakes stick when he could, and he saved his ERS. So I think Super Gamer is going to take my drive of the day. But shout out to J. Cole and Panther for both of them for having brilliant races today. Who was your drive of the day, B?
I would honestly agree with Super Gamer. For basically the exact same thing you just mentioned. Yeah, he just drove a brilliant race, brilliant strategy, make his overtakes count, and just a brilliant drive from him.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for taking part. Thank you everyone for commenting on the stream as well, for keeping us company this entire time. Tune in about 5 minutes time for mine and Dylan's Division 2 race, obviously at Silverstone as well. Wait and see how that race goes for us. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you again next week for the start of the season. From myself and Dylan, it is goodbye.